This is a good one. The person said 100% getting fired tomorrow, PIP related. You all right?
I gotta sneeze.
It's
Sorry.
okay. Here, I'll take you off the camera so you can sneeze.
Okay.
I almost switched it to you, and they was like, "Damn, we watching the sneeze. Y'all, you good? I got it." I'm a 24-year-old. I'm a 24 years old. I'm 24 years old with 2.5 years post graduating with my BS in computer science. I think he meant like experience. Still get my feet wet. I did 2.5 years in software QA as a lead. Started working while I was in school. Then I got my CompTIA Security Plus to get experience as I wanted to get into cybersecurity. 2 months after getting that cert, I came into my current role as an IT auditor, which I really enjoyed the work. Red flag should have been seen from the beginning. The team was really small, like 9 people total. When I was maybe 4 months into the job, the most senior auditor who was my age and had only been there 1.5 years left for a better opportunity. And then a month after that, my manager got fired, making me and another dude that got hired the same day the most tenured auditors on the team. I started directly reporting to the VP of Audit Department, and expectations changed overnight. I went from getting positive reviews to suddenly being on a verbal warning. And then a week after the warning, I was put on a 30-day PIP. My technical skills seemed solid. My soft skills, sure, needed development, but I was starting to get critiqued on email length or working remote when I was sick, things that seemed really small and not a reoccurring problem that should have resulted in such a drastic decision. I'm humble enough to know if I'm messing up or if I'm not qualified for a job, but this just wasn't the case. I'm new. I felt like I was picking things up really quickly, but it still wasn't enough. Anyway, I have a sudden 8:30 a.m. meeting with my boss in HR tomorrow. Even though the last day of the PIP is next Thursday, I started applying to jobs as soon as I was on a verbal warning on March 10th. I also connected through a mentor mentee program with the guy who is retired and has been a great resource. I'm trying to do all the right things, but I'm still just devastated and scared. Edit number one. It's 8:50 a.m. Eastern here. Got my desk belongings in the box. Times to be a barista as I job hunt. Let me see if he got any other edits to this. Now, y'all know my motto. If you see a PIP, it's time to dip. This
Hey.
this one person said for, I guess, the newbies, he said, for future advice, anyone reading this, a PIP is usually a reverse 2 week notice, as in your employer is telling you to leave, but with less liability for them. As soon as the PIP was issued, I would have been looking for another job ASAP, regardless of how great you think you are on the job. I've seen a lot of PIPs issued at places I worked and have never seen someone come out of one and keep their job for long. At most, the person received another PIP right after the completed first one and didn't survive the second round.
I beg to differ, though. I think that um I know people who have been put on PIPs. And sometimes people do need to be put on PIPs so they can get a reality check because they got too comfortable in their role, or they decided that they weren't going to put their best foot forward. So they had to have that reality check. So I know people who have been put on PIPs and who have gotten off those PIPs and who have been able to stay with the company and soar. Obviously, this everybody's story is differently, but um I don't like how we make it seem like some people don't need to be on PIPs. Like some people do need to be on PIPs. Point blank, period. It's not all about it's not it doesn't have everything to do with you not performing well in business things and shareholders and stakeholders. Sometimes these people suck in their roles. Sometimes these people need to be put on a PIP. Point blank, period. And it's a hard pill to swallow when someone tells you that you're not performing well or you're underperforming.
Yeah.
It's a one thing if we know the circumstances and the scenarios where it is unfair, but we're not going to pretend like some people didn't deserve a PIP.
Yeah.
I
So
don't care. I don't care.
I've been where there have been people that needed a PIP expeditiously.
Yeah.
So in those times, it's warranted. But sometimes, like I know a lot goes into, well, at good companies, a lot goes into just putting somebody on a PIP. Have you verbally warned them X amount of
No
times?
facts.
Have you even, are they trained the right way? So you got to go through all these boxes, make sure it's not on y'all.
Because sometimes it do be on the company.
And then you put them on a PIP, and most of the time they out of there.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't even, you got to let somebody go through their PIP experience,
but sometimes
so they can learn.
And sometimes it's a lot of layers to the PIP, because sometimes you've been getting on their nerve as the employee. You've been getting on their nerves. They didn't train you well, and you've been getting on their nerves. And so instead of them acknowledging, hey, we dropped the ball here, they will put you on the PIPs at some places.
And some things, other things. So back in my time at Optum, we had a guy, nice guy, just was not a good fit for the client at all. And we were just, everybody was just complaining about this person because it was just like, they never took notes of what you told them. So every time you work with them, you know, like I can go find a message from years ago. And like, man, I'm working with so-and-so again today. I know he's going to ask me a million questions. And that is like, this goes into a lot of the people who want to be entry level sometimes. I'm like, man, just give me a chance. I'm like, they want to, but if they got to continuously train you all the time, they don't have the time that you're taking away from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like they just was not getting it. So I think they are on a different contract now at the company and they're doing fine. That was more their speed. So that's one of them things as well. If possible, like move somebody to a different department. I wouldn't say just fire them.
I'm pro advocate too for moving somebody around. Like, look, this is not a good fit for you, but we still value you as an employee, so we're gonna put you here. But I think that two things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's dive a little bit deeper into this PIP situation.
Go
so
ahead.
One, when you know that you deserve to be on the PIP because you have not been performing, you know you haven't been performing for whatever reason it may be, then you get the PIP and then you have a sour attitude about it and you don't improve your performance, yeah, you're gonna get the boot. If you take it to the chin and turn your behavior around, if it is behavior related or performance related,
right?
What can they say to you?
So this is a good one. He said, is it better to get fired so you can get a severance or quit? Definitely better to get a severance. Definitely better to get it laid off.
It's never better to I don't think it's wise right now to quit. I don't think so. What are you getting out of that? Nothing. Let's say you have a family. Let's say you need some medicine, some health insurance. You know, like this is not the time to just be quitting your job.
Yeah. But you know that in some instances they're giving people PIPs just so they can manage them out the company or get them out.
I'm not saying that that's not true. I'm just saying that people do be deserving.
And I think the VP
sometimes.
who the guy was reporting to, they should have been the person doing all the stuff, not him. How I'm gonna get mad at the guy who just started probably 5 months ago that he's not doing his job as the lead and he's not a lead yet.
Them being the most tenured people,
man.
Yikes!
Plot twist: he probably worked for Dev.
I'm screaming.
Plot twist. And I found another one that I thought was really good because